So let's see now the practical approach towards arrays. I have Visual Studio Code in front of me and I'm going to write the first program for arrays. So how do you start with your C program? Hash include stdio.h. Let us save this file. If I save this file with name, let's say array example1.c, fine. So that is your first line, that is hash include stdio.h, which means that you're trying to load a header file or include a header file. Now starting with your void main, so now when you actually start writing an arrays program, first you need to declare an array. To declare an array, you need to write something like this, as I explained in the theoretical video, that this thing is declaration of your array. Declaration of array means that you're trying to declare an array which will have 5 elements of type integer, but each of them will have a garbage value right now. So now suppose that if I want to actually show or initialize these elements of this array, I'll be using member by member approach over here. So I'm using member by member initialization. I'll just write it over here, member by member. So what I want to do is I want to give value to the second element of this array. So I need to write ARR of 1 over here. Why 1? Because 0th index number is the first element and 1 is the second element. So equal to 34 I write. So let me write it over here that this is the second element. Same way I'll try to write for the third one, that means the fourth one, equal to 45. Sorry. So this becomes your fourth element. To see if really the values are given to these elements or not, we'll try to print them. So printf %d, comma, or I can say that the second element is, and then I'll try to print it like ARR of 1. Let's copy this and let's make this as 3. That becomes your fourth element. So fourth, and let's save it. Now to compile, you can go to your terminal like this over here. I can write dir so that I actually see all the files which are present over here. So I think so my file is also present, that the name of the file is array1. I don't think so if it is present here or not. Okay, let's see. GCC ARR, no, it is not. So when I do dir, it shows me the files and the folders also which are present over here. So let's go to program, let's do dir, and it is inside this. So GCC, I'll do ARR, and that's it. So there are no errors, so it will not give me any kind of problem. So I'll say a.exe, and it prints for me second element is, and third element, and you can see the fourth element also. Fine. Now if you want to print it properly, I can give a /n over here. Where did it print? No, I can give a /n over here. I can give a /n over here also, so that it prints on a new line. So let's go over here, let's write CLS, compile it again, and run it again. Oh, that did not work. What happened? Let's see. That worked. I did not save the file, therefore it compiled the previous version. Okay, so that was a simple example of member to member initialization. Now we'll try and print the value which we have not actually initialized or given to, let's say, the second index number. So what I do is I do a control V over here, try to print index number 2, which I have not yet initialized. So I just give a /n and write down first element. Okay, so let's save it, compile it once again and run it. So that will give you 0. Right now it is giving you 0, but that's a garbage value for you because you did not give a 0 value over here. Maybe in future you may get a minus value also, depends. Okay, I just wanted to show you that if you do not initialize any value, that gives you a garbage value. So this was an example of member by member initialization. Let's try and see list type of initialization. So I'll just control A, control C this program, control N, just say paste it over here, and we'll save this as array 2.c. Great. So your list type of initialization says that at the time of declaration I can give numbers. So I give 12, 13, 14 and 15. So what I'm trying to do is the time I initialize the or maybe declare the array variable, I'm giving the size as 5, and in that I'm trying to put 5 variables inside it. 5 not variables, 5 values inside it. I'll just write list type over here. Now list type is done already with a value inside the size of the array. So now this thing is not required, and if I run this program now, so ARR 1, 3 and 2 will give you some kind of value. So just clear the screen. This time it will be A index 2. Great, and I do this thing. Okay. Oh, was that a problem? Oh, wait, I did not save that. Sorry. Great. So let's do CLS and now run the program. Now you get the value 12, 14 and 13. Great. So you see over here that in list type of initialization, if I give the value 5 as a size, I can actually go and get the values at the time of initialization. But now, as I said, that since I've given the size as 5, if I try to give one more value, let's say 123, let's see what happens over here. Oh, it has already given me some kind of error. Too many initialization values. Great. So since this is a Visual Studio Code IDE, that will give me an error at runtime, I think so, when I'm writing the code. So therefore it says that there are more than 5 values which I'm trying to give inside the initialization part. So if I remove that, it will not give me any kind of problem. Great. So I think so I showed you the thing, but let's say I write comma 123 over there and remove this 5 from here. Now there should not be any problem because now I can give as much numbers while initializing the array because I have not specified the size inside my square brackets. Okay, and that makes me a little bit on a good side that I can give n number of values inside it now. Fine, so let's see if this runs. Let's save this first. Again, I'll go and compile the program. Compiled, and I run it, and I get the value. Now if I try to print a value which is not in the index numbers, or let's say that over here I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 index numbers. If I try to print a value which is, let's say, not present in it, and I say 7, and here I write, let's say 7, and try to run it now. I've saved it, let's say CLS, and compile, and then I try to run it, and that gives me a garbage value because I don't have anything over here. Great. So this means that if I try to print a value which is not there, if I use a list type of initialization, that gives me a garbage value. Fine. Okay, great. Now in the previous example, let's say in arf1, if I want to print, let's say 7 over here, this is the previous example which I took, the first one, member by member initialization wala part. Okay, so I just save this and try to compile this program, that is array example1, like this, and try to run this. Great. So this also gives me a garbage value. Great. So this means that if I'm trying to access a value which is outside my index number, that will give me a garbage value. When we are trying to use for loops, at that time we'll see is there anything else which we're getting over there, or a garbage value. Great. So I've given you two examples over here. One is how to declare an array, how to use the array, how to give a value to an array, and how to print value from an array. Okay, so this is an example of your member by member initialization, and this is an example of your list type of initialization. So there are some things which I want to share with you over here. Let's say that I have given value 5, and instead of giving 5 numbers, I give only 2 values over there. So remaining all of them will become as 0. This means that it will try to print 12 for this one, and for all others it will try to print a 0. Okay, I'll just remove this and go over here, CLS, let's do this thing, and I forget to save it, so let's go compile and run it. You get the value 0. So for the first one you got that's 12 because we do have something at index number 1, but at index number 3 we don't have anything over here, so it will give you a value as 0. Okay, so this was an example. I took 2 examples. One is for member by member and one is for list type of initialization. Now in the next video we'll try to solve a problem using loops, where if I have to access or maybe input numbers from the user, I'll be using loops over there, for loop, and for displaying also we'll use for loop. Thank you. Have a nice day.